Sup nerds? Been enjoying Dungeonborne with a friend of mine on my downtime, and despite this game being an extraction game, which I'm usually not a huge fan of, we realized there are legendary heirloom gear we can get right from the start, even as a level 1, so I figured, why not? Let's collect it. So let's take a look at all 3 of the legendary heirloom gear that you can unlock in Dungeonborne. Starting out with the easiest if you time it right is the moon pendant, and the way you get this is to keep an eye on the moon while you are in your camp. If it is a full moon, like here, go to the trading room. Once there, go towards the church or temple or whatever this is, and inside you will be able to pray at an altar while looking at the moon. Doing so will make the moon pendant fragment to appear. Grab it and head back to the camp by going to the menu and clicking on the return to lobby. Then, just go to the heirloom tab, click on the jewelry tab, and unlock the moon pendant. From now on, you can craft it for 1 mithril token or 2 of the purple materials, which, if you did this right from the start like I did, then well, you won't have any purple ones. These are the stats for it, which is pretty great compared to the other ones that I could unlock at this point. Pretty easy, huh? Well, things are about to get much harder because the second legendary heirloom is the Divine Crown, and to get the fragment for that, you will need to go to the Sinner's End map, which is the second map, but it can still be on casual. Supposedly there are 2 spawn points for this altar, but we only ever had any luck with the one at the top middle room here. Make your way there as quickly as you can, since only 1 fragment ever appears in the session, round, run, I don't know what these are called, but only 1 of these will appear, so most likely other people will be trying to get their hands on it too. But once you get there will be a few bug monsters to get rid of, and then interact with the altar, and the fragment of the Divine Crown will appear. And that's when things get a little hard, because now you need to extract safely with it. We died quite a few times after getting the fragment while trying to get out. My advice is to probably avoid the middle, avoid the bosses, and just don't make a lot of noise, I guess. Stop breathing if you can, cause if the other players hear you walking around or fighting and they know that the fragment is no longer at the altar, then they will most likely come for you. With time, some random extraction portals will appear through the map, and you do have to unlock those in order to walk through them, but only 1 person can use them, so if you are there with a friend, then they will need to find another portal to go through. So the person with the fragment should take priority, otherwise there are these blue portal markings on the map, which are there from the beginning, but they are blocked, and they only open at random intervals of time. So really, they could open early on if you're lucky, or not open even when the red zone passes by. So it's all a huge gamble and dependent on your luck. This crown fragment did take us a few runs to get 1 for each of us, and I guess the extra tip of advice is to just wear your basic gear when going in, so that you won't lose anything if you die. And make the fragment your top, if not the only priority. You can farm chests and monsters if you really want to, but all that combat noise usually attracts other players, so just get the fragment and focus on getting out. And you should eventually get it, because once you do unlock the heirlooms, then again you can craft them anytime you want in your camp. It wasn't the most stressful thing, to be honest. This one costs the same as the other one as well. It looks okay, not the coolest, but it is like a glowing red crown, so people will be able to see you from a distance fairly easily. That said, the stats on it are pretty good too. Now, for the hardest one, the Divine Sword, and for this one you will have to go with the pendant and the crown in your inventory or equipped, cause without them you won't even be able to make the Divine Sword Fragment appear. So if you die, you will be losing those crafted heirlooms, which of course you can still craft them again, but it is resources that are being wasted. And this one is also on Sinner's End, spawns in the bottom middle room in this floral chest, which again you will only be able to interact with if you have the other 2 legendary heirlooms on you. and they will quote be spent in order to make the fragment appear. So if you had the other two equipped at this point, then you just lost a lot of stat bonuses. Make sure to take your base helmet with you just in case. And because this is harder to obtain, or in a way more costly, we've realized that some people will just go with their base gear and camp out near the room until someone grabs it, and then they will just try to kill that player to nab the sword fragment from their body without having to spend their own heirlooms. And let me tell you, that actually works more often than not if you want to go on that route. And we did lose the fragment to other people like that at least half a dozen times, but we did eventually get it, but it felt more like, again, more due to luck than anything else. And this one is definitely hectic and stressful. I may or may not have lost my cool once or 4 times, but definitely not the hardest thing I went after in my gaming career. It's definitely doable with a little bit of patience. It is a one-handed sword, same cost as the other legendary heirlooms, and pretty decent stats too. And the way heirlooms work is that you can have one heirloom of each type equipped at a time. So kinda like exotics in Destiny and artifacts in New World, so one weapon, one armor, and one jewelry heirlooms can be equipped at the same time. So it is nice that they did give you one of each, so you can wear all 3 of them together. They will probably add more heirlooms later on, but for now, these are the only 3 legendaries I had access to. So yeah, have you gotten yours already, or will you try to tackle this ordeal? What are some of the most stressful things you had to do to collect items in games? Tell me in the comments down below, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more collection videos like this, and as per usual, always nerd on.